The crypto revolution is happening as we speak. And the people that are building this stuff are the most competent and inspiring that we have ever met. If you're curious about DAOs, DeFi, NFTs, Web3, this is the place to be. First up, we have Dash from the OneHive community. OneHive is a DAO that issue and distribute a digital currency called Honey. They have also built HoneySwap, which is a decentralized exchange deployed on the XDAI chain. Apart from this, they are always exploring and building new stuff, and we actually noticed Dash when lurking around in the OneHive Discord, and we were struck by the amazing leadership skills that he has, and we felt like we had to talk more to him. We are Boy and Badger, two turbo artists on an adventure in the wild Web3.
Here I am, I see something, I want to contribute, and it comes naturally for me to just do it.
I don't want to work every day. I want to party every day.
Interesting. When my baby is born, do I just give it LSD?
The DAOs are in the house. Let it rip. So we're here with Doge, right? That's the name from OneHive. And we have me, Badgerton, and also Mr. Rock from ShineDAO. And I have two things that I'm super interested in. One first thing is, how did you get your role, which we will get into, at OneHive? And the second part is, how's it going at OneHive? So if you would like to start.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm Dosh. I do some marketing for OneHive / business development and PR, as well as kind of projects along between the different teams. But yeah, that's kind of my background right now. But really, the interesting part is how I got started, and that's how Badgerton and Mr. Rock found me. They found me by looking at this study that I did on OneHive, by kind of just being part of it for 30 days and just trying to manage the chaos. And at the time, HoneySwap was shilled by Chico Crypto, and I think that's how I found them. I can't remember exactly how I stumbled into OneHive, but I was trying to do some research into crypto, and I was like, oh, these gas prices, man, like these kind of suck, right? And I was like, there's got to be a project that's already like solved this issue. Like, there's no way. And then, I put like cheap trades on, Ethereum, and I was just looking through, and then someone, I don't know, someone had a HoneySwap or something like that about fast transactions, cheap transactions. And, I stumbled into the Discord, and I was like, wow, like this is just crazy. And it was at the time where it was just OneHive was exploding, like absolutely exploding. There's people just coming in left and right, just asking questions. MetaMask was pretty new at the time, so like it was a lot of MetaMask support. So most of the people that kind of are core contributors, well, I shouldn't say core contributor, they're just more than the average person that just kind of hops in, does something, and then leaves. But yeah, so these people that we have no idea of each other at this time. We're just like, okay, like how can we help you guys? Like, do you guys need help? Because we realized it was just such a mess of like people just dumping in and asking so many questions. Like it was insane. Like the chat would not stop ever. And that was like 2 weeks at a time. Like it was just waves of people just constantly coming in. And yeah, it was insane. So yeah, like I was sitting there in the chat. I was like, okay, like I was trying to ask questions as well. I'm like, okay, like I don't understand what's going on here, guys. Like, can you guys tell me? And they're like, well, we're a DAO. And I'm like, what is a DAO, dude? Like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So I grab like the Google, and I'm just like DAO. I'm like, okay, decentralized autonomous organization. I was like, okay, like that makes no sense. Like, how is this a DAO? Like, these are not like, scripts that are running in the background or something like that. So, and then I kind of got into the vibe, and I was just like, okay, like, so everyone has kind of like their own thing and they can like help out like the project, and kind of like pieced it together. And at the time, we didn't have documentation, we didn't have anything. Like there was just people making forum posts of like how to help each other. It was absolutely crazy. So we had no Wikipedia, we had no structure to anything, we had no help channels. It was just nuts. So yeah, we slowly started structuring that, and in that time, I'm like, oh, like they don't really have marketing guys. They just kind of got lucky from Chico. So maybe I can do something cool with that and try to figure out a way that's decentralized, a way of having a media channel, because apparently in DAOs you can't have official things, so
Oh.
you can't necessarily say something is official.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you do that, right? So I sat there, I was helping out, learning more, just being in help chat, just trying to answer questions, while I'm trying to like kind of oversee things and try to kind of formulate my thoughts on how to go about it.
Oh.
And then what happened? Oh yeah. And then we had some serious FUD, like extreme FUD. We were getting called scammers. Well, meanwhile, like the price was declining, of honey. And yeah, like if you don't kind of understand how the DAO works, like, everyone's kind of responsible for the price, not, the main core team at the time. So, price is declining. We're trying to, figure out ways to help that. Well, people are calling us scammers, that the developers rug pulled, and it was
Oof.
an absolute mess. The person that was responsible for the Telegram channel kind of created like a civil attack against like all of our media channels, because he was kind of responsible for it.
But what the
So,
FUD, was that like organized, or was it just like random people coming in and
well,
calling us scammers?
no, well, the guy that was calling us scammers had admin rights on the Telegram, and like we had like a pretty solid fan base on the Telegram at the time. It was like 1,500 people, or yeah, it was a decent amount of people. But yeah, we couldn't even type. Like we would try to like resolve some, like we try to like say like, hey, we're not trying to do this, and we would just get banned on every account. So like yeah, it was a painful time, but yeah, it all kind of started
An
with
old kind of thing, or he just thought you were scammers?
no. Like we try to like try to counter his points that he was like trying to tell people that the devs were dumping by linking like the AMM contract, which like the AMM contracts show like every time like a transaction is done, it does some kind of like thing, and they're like, oh yeah, these are the addresses linked to these guys or something like that. Anyways, so he's trying to like create this FUD, and then every time we're
Yeah.
like, no man, like this is bullshit, like this is just
Uh-huh.
this is not right, he would just delete it, and then no one would and then he would just ban us. So like whoever tried to like help, like actually help the people that were the audience, like they wouldn't even see our help. It was just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
It sounds
so
insane. Like
Yes.
I don't even have time to do all the things I want to do. Then how would I have time to like actively ruin it for someone else?
oh exactly, like, that's what we were thinking exactly. It's like, man, how does this guy have so much time to do
Yeah.
all these things? Like it's seriously, and it would go on for weeks, like
What
weeks
Wow.
at
the?
a time.
And what was the
Yeah.
motivation? Like, why did this happen? Why do you think it happened?
It happened because he found some sort of bug,
Okay.
and he went to the devs at the time and said like, there's a way I can pretty much pull all the money from the common pool, and they're like, okay, like what is it? And they're like, okay, well we want money for it. It's like, okay, but like tell us what it is. So this guy's pretty much like trying to threaten the main guys that had most of the tokens at the time in One Hive. And like they're like, okay, like we'll pay you, just like you got to tell us. And there was like some kind of disagreement between those things, and at the same time he was also stealing from the community pot with the exploit. um so yeah, like it was just like a very weird kind of environment with this guy, because like he had control of the Telegram and like some of the media stuff, and yeah, he found this exploit that he could literally just tell people how to do it and like clean us out. So yeah, it was a very like weird situation. So
Yeah.
after it got patched, first of all, they've already paid him 50 grand at this time. So they paid him 50 honey. He's already dumped it. And honey at the time is about 1,000. So he's dumping like 50 grand at a time. And then he's trying to pass another proposal for the second part of his bounty. And then we realized that he was actually stealing money at the time as well, which violates our covenant. And yeah, we're just like, no, you guys, like we contacted the people that were supporting the proposal to pass it. And we're like, yo, guys, like this is happening right now. This guy's, stealing from us, and you're gonna pay him another 50 honey to dump again. Like, what the hell? So the guys that were, the major supporters of the proposal just like pulled their support. They're like, okay, well, maybe we need to talk about this further. And then he just went full rogue and just, started scamming us completely. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So yeah, rather than like, discuss and be like, hey guys, like being a normal human, being like, hey, I was promised, whatever it is. He just went the completely wrong route. So yeah.
Wow,
and it's not that
a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very intrigued. Like, this story is like very, very intriguing. This is the real stuff that can happen. So I guess, yeah.
I'm kind of curious. How did you guys recover from this? I guess it was pretty big blow, right, for the whole community, for the trust, and so on,
and the motivation for everyone.
Yeah, and it seems like you got it back. So I'm kind of curious, what were the activities that you took after to kind of recover from those blows?
Oh man, how do we recover it? We had admin team of like 10 people. We had to report his posts on Twitter. We had to report his Telegram channel. We had to try to find the original owner of the Telegram channel and try to convince him to kick him out. And then essentially we reported the Telegram account so many times that, this guy's, actively, messing with our stuff. And it's not real. And then, like, I don't know, Telegram admins like finally saw it and banned his account. But yeah, after that, he had some Medium articles about us. He wrote we were a scam, so we had to report those. But yeah, the process took about a full month of, actively reporting accounts, actively trying to find ways to contact members to say, hey guys, like this guy's, fucking with us, come to the Discord and let's talk. Because like the Discord was kind of our main communication at the time. We didn't have a Telegram or anything like that. That was like by trusted people in the community. So we're like trying to funnel people into the Discord to ask questions rather than, hearing the FUD. It kind of worked. But really it was such a big blow that, the price was steadily declining. And then at the time I was still doing my 30-day study on OneHive to try to figure out decentralized media. Cause like, as you can understand, this is just became a zoo, right? This guy controlled media and like fucked with everyone, right? And there's a lot of people that pour a lot of time into this project, right? It's not like, whatever, we can just do it again. It's like, nah, man, like a lot of people took it personally for sure.
So let me get this straight. So you went to do like this 30-day study and you saw all this shit show in 30 days.
Pretty much, yeah. It was insane. Wow. It was actually insane, yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you were like, yes.
This
I was
is
like,
what
okay,
I
like, yeah.
I want to get involved.
So, and the craziest thing was like this guy that was supposed to set up the Buzz team. So I finished my proposal, not my proposal, my study, and I'm like, cool, I have a cool way to implement this. If you guys want me to do it, fund this paper, and then I'll get the bot done, and then we can start implementing this. And at the time, the guy that was supposed to do the whole marketing team was like, looked at my proposal, and he was like, oh, too long, didn't read it. And then like a day later, he was like, actually guys, I got to go back to work and I can't help you guys anymore, and like just kind of left. I was like, what? Like, what just happened? Like the guy that was supposed to like, lead the way in the marketing stuff just up and disappeared. And now I can't even like ask a swarm or a team to like fund my initiative. So I was pretty bummed out at the time. I was like, oh man, like what are we going to do? Like, so now there's no marketing at the time. There's no marketing team being formed anymore. I was like, shit, like this is not good. So I kind of convinced a few guys that I was doing like support with, and some of the guys that I talked to in One Hive and like kind of trusted as friends, I was like, hey guys, like this is the deal. I've seen you guys work. Would you guys like to do this plan with me? And they're like, yeah, for sure. That sounds dope. I was like, what? Really? And they're like, yeah, dude, we're totally down to do that. So
Amazing.
yeah, we kind of started one of the first non-dev DAOs within One Hive. Yeah, it was pretty intense. We had like a marketing plan, like Excel spreadsheets, just everything, just so much shit. We had it all down to the teeth, and we applied for the funding. And yeah, like a lot of people hated the idea of marketing, and when people hear marketing, they're like, oh, they're scamming, and it's like, okay, guys, like we're not scamming, but if you want people to use your technology, well, these people need to find your technology. So without, that missing element of, the content that's written or the Twitter that's, constantly active, they're never gonna know what you're building.
Yeah.
So you're really building tools for yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I push and shove. We were able to, kind of start the whole buzz thing and start putting the pieces together that were missing. So yeah, and we started from the Wikipedia was our first kind of project we took over, and kind of oversaw that with the help of a lot of members, about like 10 different members from different teams. So we put that together. So like Buzz kind of like managed a lot of the non-dev stuff for a few months until more of the swarms were formed, which we also kind of helped kind of push along the way. Yeah, and that's kind of how I got the role. It was just kind of like no one wants to do it. And
How did you feel like?
that's kind of it.
Did you have any like doubts about yourself, or you were like, I know little about crypto, I know little about crypto marketing, or you just like, okay, I want to do this, and no one else gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it.
Well, I have experience in just startup stuff, so I kind of know like what is required as as a finished product. So
Yeah.
I know like how to get there. I just didn't have the whole route planned out at the time.
Mhm.
What did help me was like the experience that you guys just heard. So I kind of like, had the experience in the DAO, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is crazy, like absolute madness. And then like we need to put like some kind of direction to this madness, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of based it off like my study, and I was like, hey, like I spent a lot of time on the study. Like I'm pretty sure I can like hammer it out. It's not an issue. Because like yeah, I was just very confident in what I'd done. Yeah, so I kind of followed my plan and went that way. But the rest I did not expect. Like I did not expect to have to do a lot of the dev stuff, a lot of the project management. Yeah, it was intense. It is intense.
So what kind of convinced you to get involved? Was it more like intrinsic motivation, or did you see like opportunity to, I don't know, earn tokens in an interesting way? What was kind of why did you choose this instead of something else?
Yeah, I mean, like for work, I'm always like doing some kind of anything that's related to tech. I just never did crypto before, and this whole DAO stuff kind of like really opened my eyes. Like DeFi really opened my eyes in the possibilities of crypto and how we can create things that are, tailored to everyone in the world. So yeah, like I was right when I like read those things, it all clicked in my mind. I was like, whoa, like this is going to be huge. Like I need to get in it right now. I don't care if I don't get paid a lot of money, but
Yeah.
like, we need to be in the space. I need to be at the forefront. So yeah, like the DAO stuff, like actively like working in it, like that was kind of, the forefront of things. So yeah, that
I
was
think
kind
it's the
of
most.
my sorry.
Looking back, like, what do you think is the most important thing you learned from doing this? I mean, I guess you learned a bunch of things, but can you?
Oh, oof. What is the most important thing? There's just so many things.
Yeah.
I learned I learned like project management like in across like an international community is not even close to the same thing as like any like typical project management that's like in your in your
Yeah.
city, right? Like when you're in person.
Yeah.
So yeah, like figuring out ways to, not even convince people, just to like operate with people in across multiple time zones is really difficult. Like even this meeting, we had to reschedule a few times because,
Yeah.
it just things don't line up perfectly, and then yeah, just it all goes to shit. But yeah, you eventually just figure out um who are good contributors, who are great, people that you can rely on, who's got the certain skill sets. And then you just find a way to make it asynchronous. So if you can find that pattern and solution to the current problem, you just pick the right person and say, hey, this is this is the task that needs to be done. And then you just kind of assemble the rest of the pieces with other people as well. So yeah, that was kind of my solution behind it.
Awesome.
But it doesn't always work that way.
How did you manage to convince like contributors to start contributing? I guess in all this mess, how did you convince them?
Ooh, I really didn't have to convince them. I just said they just saw me working and they just wanted to help, right? They always wanted to help. They're like, I want to be part of it as well. They just didn't know how yet. And I just kind of gave them the how. And yeah, it was kind of just second nature. But yeah, if I were to go out and try to convince someone to work for a DAO, I don't think it'd be possible unless you got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's also what we notice, I guess. Like most of the people do this as a, let's say, part-time fun activity. They want to be part of something, and they want to be part of something new. And DAOs are a great way to start getting involved also into crypto space, learn from other people, and just be part of something meaningful, I guess. So
Yeah, most definitely. And like being in the space also gives you a lot of opportunities. Like for example, we had the Agave lending platform, airdrop our community, like community distribution of like, I think at the peak of the time was like 135 grand. So like, you get lucky like that, right? I mean, if you held, obviously, I'm not saying I held by any means, but yeah, like it's there's certain things that you learn in the space, and that like, when you give, you also receive.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen like multiple times over. Like you give and you always receive. You go and contribute to any project, maybe they have a token, maybe they don't have a token. If the project is solid and they have real people that are, want that thing to succeed, they'll make you they'll get you paid. Like there won't be an issue. But, how things are currently structured in terms of you're coming into a normal corporate job, right? You're signing contracts, you're doing, whatever you got to
Yeah.
do. I don't think that's going to work.
No.
Like I think you need to have a passion into at least some kind of crypto stuff, or at least innovation, in terms of like thinking of new ways to do things.
And maybe it's an interesting question to just ask someone, like, what's your passion? Because everyone has one, but we don't really talk about it that often. Sometimes you notice, but I mean, it's more interesting. Like for me, in ShineDAO, I care more about people's passions than their skills. With a passion, you can learn new skills, usually.
Exactly. And like in crypto, you can pursue even like non-dev skills.
Yeah.
And as long as you have passion, you can make it. You've seen the NFTs out there that are just, some people think about great ways to market themselves. They think about great ways to make the art, and they're being rewarded for it, right? Obviously it's not a CryptoPunk sale, but when you have, there was one I was looking at that was really cool. They made an NFT that was has a like it was a kind of like a music box. And it would play music depending on the hash numbers or something like
Oh,
that.
yes. I didn't
And
think this was possible, but you can, right?
yeah, yeah. So the person that did this, he's an artist, although he combined some of his skills with obviously
Yeah.
auto-generating these things. It's not an easy thing, but his passion drove him to selling NFTs for, I think they were selling for like 0.1 or 0.01 of an ETH, and like recently they're going for like 10, 15 ETH. So yeah, like I think crypto just gives people a new chance at doing things, and there's not a lot of competition in the space. And the great thing is, even if you're in the space, most people are open to collaborating, being open source about things, and yeah, it's amazing.
Exactly. I also have a question, since you said before that you come from like traditional startup environment, which is also my personal background. I'm kind of curious how you see marketing different in crypto world than in traditional startup environment. What are kind of key differences in your opinion, or how do you approach it?
It's completely different. Like the one when you're in a startup, you're kind of fighting to survive, right? You're trying to raise money, and you're trying to satisfy the next funding round. So you do pretty much whatever it takes. If you're going to need to pump 100 grand into a Facebook campaign, you're going to do it, right? If you're going to do $500,000 just in advertising with no product, you're going to need to do it. Versus you do that in the crypto space, in the DAO space, you kind of get boned, because if you have this product that's just overhyped, people come in and they dump on the previous contributors will dump on the new contributors. So now you have a new set of people that got dumped on. Now they're all pissed off because you guys did some kind of marketing tactic by deploying to 10 YouTubers that have a big audience. And the people that were there before are holding their tokens for the pump, and then you're pretty much like dumping on each other. So like, how do you prevent that? For us in OneHive, I keep telling people, like, if you guys want to do YouTube marketing, like, I don't need to do it. It doesn't take a lot of skill to tell someone, hey, here's 35 grand, go pay Chico Crypto to shill OneHive. Like that's all it takes. It doesn't take any genius behind it, right? The true genius behind the marketing is doing what we're doing right now. We're talking about OneHive. We do a lot of partnerships, or we do a lot of collaborations with teams that align with OneHive values. So we bring in their demographic within our demographic, and then we just share resources. So why pay Twitter when we can just promote each other, right? So yeah, that's kind of our strategy. So we bring in the communities that align with OneHive's vision, and try to figure out some kind of way that we could do like a partnership, or some kind of collaboration between the two.
Awesome. Was there any specific partnership that was really a game changer for you guys?
I don't know if you guys know about X-Pollinate. Have you guys ever heard of that bridge? Layer 2 bridge?
I thought it was you. Like, I don't still know so much difference between. Okay, but they were not originally part of OneHive, or?
Yeah, so X-Pollinate was just a collaboration between OneHive and Connext.
Okay.
And it was a project that was led by a few of us in OneHive. And really, it was just working with the Connext team and trying to build an interface and trying to find a way that, how do we avoid gas fees completely? And these guys had the technology, and then we had the community behind it, and we helped with some of the front end development. And we created X-Pollinate, and like I think X-Pollinate was one of the most successful things that I've been a part of, for sure. But yeah, I think it's very successful in the whole crypto space, because it's one of the only bridges that's L2 to L2 without having to do any main Ethereum transactions. So that was pretty badass.
Nice. Yeah, it's true. It's
and
it's really... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say actually, there's one that's a competitor to yours, your project that you guys got coming up. Your options one, I believe, DeFi
Mhm.
options DAO.
Exactly.
Um, we are working with. Do you guys know Hedgie Finance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're working with Hedgie Finance to do some kind of DAO treasury stuff. So yeah, hopefully we can come to some kind of strategy that we can utilize some of the funds that are just kind of sitting in our common pool doing nothing with options. So
Amazing.
yeah, they're doing some kind of test for us right now. So yeah, they're
Nice.
about to pass a proposal, so it's going to be pretty wicked.
Nice. Yeah, we've been having a lot of discussions because we also have like a treasury that's just there. And I think it's doing more good at the time somewhere else because we're still not really needing all of that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like derivatives are in general like a great opportunity, still very untapped space. So we were very fortunate to find this project. It was we found it really randomly, and yeah, the devs are amazing, super technical, amazing code, very fast execution. And yeah, they kind of needed support in a few areas, and we thought, okay, this is what we could try to facilitate. We could try to get some friends, some community members to kind of help them out. And I think like where the real value from crypto comes from is how easy it becomes to really transfer value or create value and kind of own value or send value from one person to another. And it creates like a whole nother dynamic where you don't have to have contracts or I don't know, raise money. You can just bootstrap things and kind of yeah, split things in the way based on contributions and yeah, just make a lot of people happy while at the same time yeah, it's just easier to achieve more, I guess.
Yeah, if you're looking for like win-win situations instead of like
Yeah.
win-lose, then there are tons.
Yeah, 100% agree to that. And that's the great thing about crypto. Like a lot of the projects that we've talked to, like even if we're direct competitors, they're like, oh yeah, we'll welcome you guys. You guys are chill, and we find ways to share the pie, right? There's no point in fighting for the pie with how much there is to explore in the cryptoverse, right?
Yeah, I think it's time
Um,
to leave like competitors. It's not valid when we're kind of growing all of us together.
yeah,
Exactly.
and if we start competing with each other rather than like everyone kind of contributing and trying to expand the space, we're going to be creating this war between the projects rather than focusing on how to bring more people into the cryptoverse. We're fighting for whatever that small piece of the pie is right now. It's where like I think what is it like not even 0.1 of the percent of the people are know about crypto or something like that, when you know we as a crypto community in general, we should be tailoring to these other people and bringing more people in, right? Making the pie bigger in general.
Yeah.
Why fight for the scraps?
Yeah. A big one then. Like if we look at it from like the really big perspective, the ones that got interested in crypto in the beginning, I guess, are mostly devs or interested in crypto of other reasons, like Austrian economics or just crazy person think that it's crazy, like high risk taker. But I was talking to my mom earlier today and talking a little bit about crypto, opening up about like, yeah, I'm kind of doing something in crypto. It's like, I don't know what that is. So what's the step actually to go from here where we have that kind of crowd to find a way to make it not about devs or like code only, but like the value in total,
Yeah.
actually using things.
Actually, I've been trying to experiment exactly that. It's like, how do you bring in the people with like the serious money? Like
Yeah.
our generation. Like I'm almost 30 years old, and like we don't have that much money.
No.
Like we're just starting our careers out. We have some assets if you're
Yeah.
lucky. Um, but yeah, like the parents, it's like, well, these guys work their whole life, and they got the traditional banking system ingrained into them.
Yeah.
So how do you change it? The way I do it is I relate to things that they understand. So when I say like, oh yeah, there's this program that we built with one hive called Honeycomb, and it's called farming, and they're like, what the hell did you just say in that sentence, right? And I said, you know how one hive is the organization I work in? And they're like, yes, and I'm like, okay, well, do you know how companies give you dividends when you invest money into them? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, well, that's exactly what farming is. So you put your tokens back into the organization to receive dividends, but from the organization. Does that make sense? They're like, ah, okay, yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly that.
Yeah,
So
I guess also people don't have to fully understand how things work in order to be able to use them. I'm pretty sure that most people don't really understand how banking works or don't know what shadow banking is, or most people don't even understand how internet actually works. And as long as you have like really simple user interfaces and ability that proves usability to people, I guess it becomes easier to onboard them. And I feel like crypto is definitely moving in that direction. I just feel like the previous years we're focusing more on like layer one or like improving, I don't know, still now scalability, gas prices. As soon as this is kind of resolved, I feel like the mass adoption hasn't really started even. So I'm very bullish about the potential or where this could possibly go.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think one problem, or not a problem, but like thing to overcome is most people that I know a bit older, they haven't really been taught how to find their own way. Like if you're an entrepreneur, you learn like who to trust, who not to trust. But if you're used to like listening to the authority, like your teacher, your parents, the government telling you who you can trust and who you cannot trust, then crypto is going to be like a big learning curve to find ways to actually know who to trust. I was, yeah, let's not go too deep into what I wrote and didn't write, but maybe it's impossible to know who to trust and not to trust. You just have to find ways of going about to I don't know, decrease the risk and increase the like numbers of positive interactions you have.
I guess crypto is a bit different. I think like our friend with Badgerton, Crypto Orangutan, once said everything is a scam. So it's kind of like in crypto, you almost assume it's a scam and you try to prove reasons for why it's not, right? So
yeah, but he meant everything is a scam, like the old system, new system. Like he's a scam, I'm a scam.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. No, seriously. It is a scam because like if you really don't know a lot about the stuff, you know, you hear the words like smart contracts and private keys and all these things. You're like, yo, man, like what is this? Like I just want to go to the ATM, put my card in and pull my money out. It's like, oh, well, you can do that now. Actually, you know, Binance card has a card and you know, they're too, I don't want to say like shallow minded, but they're too used to something that like has been there for so long and it's served them so well that bringing something new is just really hard to adapt to. Now the adoption in crypto, you know, being in crypto, you can, you know, hold on to some shit coins and, you know, shoot to the moon, which I think that's what's really bringing a lot of eyes in, especially like our generation. So like, you know, I have a feeling that we will succeed because we have social media that, you know, we're kind of raised with. So you can communicate faster, you can find out things a lot faster. Also, that's a negative at the same time, but yeah, I don't want to get into that too. But and also like a lot of our generation knows that, you know, you can go to work and work, you know, 24 hours a day, or sorry, not 24, 8 hours a day, you know, come home and sleep and then do the same thing for, you know, 20 years and you'll still not feel essentially free, right? Because, you know, you're, you know, working to pay bills, you're doing this, you're doing that. And, you know, crypto actually gives you the ability to maybe one day, you know, break out of that habit and, a lot of the generations inspired by those things, right? They're like, I don't want to work every day. I want to party every day. So yeah, I think it's got a lot of moonshot potential behind it in general, just crypto.
Is
Yeah.
that how I sell it to my mom? You like to party.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can party every day if your coin moons, exactly.
But I was thinking like young people, they all want to get rich, but the old people, they have more to lose. So I was thinking like scaring them, You don't want to stop having this nice house and all these nice things, huh? Maybe you should diversify a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, inflation.
Yeah, and then when they have some kind of allocation, they will look at all their assets and they're like, this one seems to not shrink, while the other one seems to. Oh.
Yeah, but
Yeah, exactly.
honestly, it's gonna be a bit more stable, or I don't expect as many moonshots at least. But I think like moonshots are actually great because of attention crypto is getting because of this. Like all the people that otherwise wouldn't really care about the decentralization or like this new financial system are now giving so much attention to this just because they see this benefit of profit. And sure, it is there, but if you really dive deep, I think a lot of people got to learn about possibility of better financial system just because of this. So it's kind of like eliminating the path towards something new, something better, and I think it's great, and it's genius incentive system to guide people towards better systems. So
Absolutely. And I don't think people have fully realized yet that, these autonomous systems that have been built, like, for example, Aave, they can sustainably pay out, 10, 15%, 20% a year for the sole purpose that they don't have overhead. They have servers. Yeah, sure. I mean, everyone has servers, but they don't have to pay, an employee 50 grand a year to do lending deals, or
Yeah.
I'm just making it very basic, right?
Yeah.
So all these things can be given back to the people that are part of it, right?
Yeah.
And don't tell me that if you go and buy a big banking system share, you have the same abilities that you have with Aave, for example, again.
No.
exactly.
So yeah, like when people figure this stuff out, they're going to be like, oh my God, this is way better.
Exactly. I mean, even now with current infrastructure, for example, Uniswap, I think in terms of volume at one point, it was very comparable to Coinbase, for example. And if you look at the number of employees, it's like crazy difference. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think at Coinbase, there must be at least 1,000 people. And at the Uniswap, I bet it's less than 100. So it's like a huge difference for similar value curation, I guess.
I think like isn't Uniswap like just a handful of people? Like Uniswap Labs, I should say, not Uniswap as a DAO, but like
Yeah,
the actual like core team. It's not a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's I'm not sure about the exact number, but for sure, yeah, probably even less than 20, right? I don't know exactly.
Yeah, it's very interesting actually. What do you guys think about when you first saw Uniswap?
It blew my mind, to be honest. I was like, what? I called my friend who studies physics. I was like, man, just learn about this and explain it to me because it was so mind blowing. And this guy ended up creating like a model in Python, and he would play around with it and create diagrams. And it was really mind blowing experience. And it was actually how we got to where we are at the moment. Like got involved in DAOs because we were like, okay, Uniswap is so cool. Like how could we make it even better, right? There was this problem of impermanent loss at the beginning, so we were kind of exploring those possibilities. And we started to talk to a lot of early stage teams. We saw that
Did you cut out there, Mr. Rock?
I always feel like it's me. I always am like, did I die? What happened?
No.
I feel like there was a continuation to that sentence.
Oh no. Okay, where did you guys lose me?
You were talking to early stage teams because you wanted to fix some things
Yeah,
with
yeah.
info.
Well, yeah, and then essentially what we noticed was that sometimes those teams have good technical solutions, but they struggle to see the light because they either don't know how to sell it, or they either don't know how to raise money from VCs, or they don't know how to build a community. So they have this kind of a product that doesn't fully. I mean, it kind of works, but it doesn't have any audience. So we thought, okay, what if we can have an audience, almost audience as a service that picks the best projects that they want to work with and it contributes to those projects. So that was kind of the idea behind it. And we tried to play around with it small a bit. And yeah, we got to building this ShineDAO after. So that was kind of
That's awesome. That is awesome. Maybe you guys need to test out our voting mechanism called Gardens, which is pretty much like
Sell
the
it. 30
yeah.
seconds. I already
What's
talked
that?
about this. I'm already sold, but like sell it.
So if you guys have interacted with onehive.org, which is our, voting mechanism, and which, involves conviction voting and a bunch of math that I don't understand. But yeah, essentially it's how we create proposals and be rewarded the appropriate funds that are requested autonomously. And yeah, it has a lot of stuff built into it. But essentially, what Gardens is it's one Hive org, but plug and play. So you get the voting mechanism, you get the disputing mechanism, and I believe you get token creation if you don't have a token. So yeah, there's some pretty solid tools that are pretty much free to use for anyone. So yeah, if you guys are interested in testing out how to do, conviction voting and stuff like that, yeah, you guys should definitely check that out.
Definitely. Just add it on my to-do list.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this that is from ShineDAO or like want to get involved, let's do it.
Yeah, you can make your own DAO. Like you can spin up a DAO in the matter of a couple of clicks.
Oh.
And you have your own token. Yeah, for sure.
Think bigger.
I'm actually more curious, also curious about how does the process work for, I don't know, creating an initiative from start to finish at OneHive, for example? Could you guide us through like key steps? I'm really curious about it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to generalize it here because it's not as easy as it sounds usually. But essentially, what you want to do is you want to, participate in OneHive in terms of, reading the forum, seeing what people are talking about, seeing what the teams are doing, what they're getting up to, and seeing how you can fit into the whole environment, or you can do something completely unrelated to what the teams are doing, and you can submit a proposal for OneHive to fund. And all you really need to do is align with OneHive's covenant and kind of the core values of OneHive and what we're all about, which is funding public goods in the crypto space. So we're focused more on DAO tools and research and stuff like that, which is kind of what we would fund. But essentially, yeah, you go into the Discord, you say, hello guys, I am Badgerton or Mr. Rock. We're from Shine. We have a cool idea that OneHive might be interested in. We'd love your feedback on this forum post. So you create a forum post. Then you hear what the community has to say. You can adjust the strategy if you find that some people are interested, and you can get some voters behind it. And then essentially you create a vote on onehive.org and you wait for people to start voting on it. And when that is pretty much voted on, you can do whatever you were meant to do. It's pretty simple.
Awesome. And at
but-
what point do you get the funds? Is it happening? Do you get funding from as soon as it's approved, or do you have to actually complete your initiative?
No. So as soon as it's approved, you can complete your initiative. So like as soon as it gets approved by the DAO, the money gets automatically sent to the wallet address that the proposal's corresponding to.
Mm-hmm. And what happens in the case that the person doesn't deliver the initiative?
Well, that's kind of where the community has to decide to see if the project's worth funding for, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's going to be, a team behind it, like, a DAO that has like a token and has like some form of, clout that they don't want to ruin, you kind of know that these guys aren't going to take the money and run. And, we're not talking about massive amounts here, right? So,
yeah,
if for example, we're doing the proposal with Hedgie, and they want to start with $10,000 as a hedging strategy, which is about 30 honey right now. So, I mean, if we can't trust them with 10 grand, how can we trust them with like 2.8 million, which is sitting in our treasury? So, yeah, we'll do it in steps. If it comes to like bigger things, and we build, a trust between the teams. But also we use multi-sigs and stuff like that to, slowly release funds and whatever makes people comfortable on voting on the proposal.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah, like I was just about to ask like your tips and stuff, but I think you have already. I think anyone listening to this will have a lot of good tips, like on how to exist in this world of DAOs, not just when it comes to marketing, but like in general as well.
Oh hell yeah, for sure. We should do this again. And,
yeah, I'd love to
get more people involved. That would be dope.
Yes.
I want this to be the Joe Rogan of DAOs right here.